It's one of the few, you know, less vulnerable to machine gun things that you can get here. And I don't know where those guys just came from, but they just retreated right through a firing squad. However, they are being properly reinforced by a whole bunch of riflemen who are going to do a ton of damage to these guys while they retreat. So meanwhile, we'll take a look, and we do have some serious fire being laid down here. 5-line HMG team, accomplished HMG team, tons of damage done. Looks like all these guys are retreating right now. Rifle squads all over the place. Meanwhile, disconnected territory up here. No high munitions point for Sandland at the moment. So really, when you get down to it, though, in the grand scheme of things, this is all just kind of like the introductory kind of footsie, where everybody kind of figures out what side of the map they're going to get and all that. And, you know, we haven't really had any huge abilities come in, and now we're going to start seeing the more advanced tech. Like, I like seeing this, for instance. Duffy's level 1 anti-tank gun. Basically, at level 1, it gets the ability to fire armor-piercing shells, so it's just kind of a regular old gun as far as I can tell. Half-track, however. Half-tracks are fun. I don't know if anybody ever gets a chance to use these, but they're really good. I mean, they're, you know, in some ways better than forward barracks, in some ways worse, because you can kill them a lot easier. But if you do have 100 munitions lying around, you can upgrade them to the quad 50 cals, and they're quite effective against infantry. And so undoubtedly we're going to see a bit of a push up here while he supports them with that half-track. But just strategically, I think this is a mistake. I think, like, it's good to have a contain going on here. Oh, and the Puma shows up. Oh, boy. This is not any old Puma. This is Burger's Puma. And this comes with the 50mm gun, which is great against light vehicles and armored vehicles and that sort of thing. So that's going to be hunting down the Greyhound. Meanwhile, he's pretty sure that there is no sticky bomb yet. But just in case, he's playing it a little bit safe. You can see these two guns do reasonably good damage against each other. Whoa, look at that. Just blowing the top right off of that well. I love the physics in this game. It's always little fun little jewels like that. But anyhow, like I was going to say, I think it's kind of a mistake to cap this area so quickly when there's so much open here on the left that he still needs. But we'll see. The Greyhound's moving in. Again, you know, one thing I would love to see is just a Greyhound mine, man. I know it's kind of hard to put them down, and a lot of players use minesweepers effectively and that sort of thing. But just drop a Greyhound mine right there and get the hell out. So much damage. Okay, here we go. Big old nasty fight going on. We got some flamethrowers going down, and it looks like they're backing off and maybe going to try and resupply a little bit here. We do have Armored Bounty up, of all things, which could be pretty good. He's getting a couple of kills off, perhaps. I think I saw a little bit of money going up there. Who knows? Big shots kind of going all around here. Infantry taking some casualties. We've got the Greyhound is just kind of plucking away at this building. Looks like there's an HMG team nestled away in there somewhere. They're kind of firing out the front window at the moment. Duffy's anti-tank gun is wildly out of place. Unfortunately, that kind of got left behind and all that. And, oh, Duffy's anti-tank gun just takes some shots at a building, and that's about it. Looks like the infantry are moving in, but just in time to have a stug roll on top of them. And they're going to have to move. Looks like they're taking quite a bit of fire from this Puma, as well as the... here we go. Here's the machine gun poking its head out the front. I do love how the units will reposition themselves as the building takes damage to be able to fire out of different holes there. And unfortunately, this Stug just comes right in and wrecks the Greyhound. And right as the 50 cal goes up, too. Look at the quad 50 cals on this thing when it fires. It just lights up the whole area. Ah, I just love that. Look at the fire rate on that thing. It's so cool. But, I mean, oh, God, it's just gotta get... Oh, damaged engine! No! They're just taking too much bullets. Too many bullets. Get out of there! Oh, and the Stug is coming in for the kill. Oh, down it goes. Looks like the Stug got the kill on both that and the Greyhound. So, big old Stug push coming out of nowhere. Kind of surprised him. I hope he got sticky bombs during that. I have a horrible habit of not looking up here and looking at the production queue. I wish that was more visible, but honestly, I think that's just my brain. I just don't see that stuff when I'm busy looking at all the details here. So, massive, massive retreat. And this is the kind of retreat that nobody ever wants to have, where just you take all your units off of the board. You kind of always want to be falling back one thing at a time and supporting with what you can. But when you have to take your whole army back, resupply your whole army, and then send it back out there, it's just a huge amount of time where your opponent can just set up shop and do whatever he needs to do. And so now you can see that Cracken is in a much better position in terms of map control. As soon as he gets a few more caps around here, he'll be able to set his MGs up where he needs them in the building. So hopefully those guys moving up pretty quickly. Accomplished HMG team moving up, probably going to go ahead and get in this church. Again, just going to switch over just so I can see. All right, we have Katzenmeyer's Volksgrenadiers already in there, and looks like the Puma's getting repaired a bit. So here comes a big surge across the river now. Meanwhile, we do have a couple of riflemen up here just recapping all this sort of stuff. Going to switch back to Sandland and just see how he's going to deal with this now. So I would love to see, you know, I saw a couple of Pioneers. I guess there's only the one that's kind of busy right now repairing, but I'd love to see these Pioneers or somebody who just doesn't need to be here right now, like maybe some reinforcing Volksgrenadiers, just to come and attack this sort of stuff. I think it's very important. It's kind of, this is kind of like your macro in StarCraft or something like that. Your micro is all these little battles where you're fighting things out and micromanaging who goes where, but your macro, oh, and single hand grenade goes into there, boom, oh, it looks like it kills a single machine gunner, and they back out, oddly enough. Looks like the machine gun didn't have time to really point out the window. Now they're firing again. But, yeah, your macro is kind of looking at this chessboard and just kind of remembering, where do I have to keep sending units that I can afford to not have on the front lines for the time being. Throwing some landmines here. That's an interesting choice. I'd kind of like to see them a little further up, like there or something like that, but he's probably got something else in mind, some of their flow pattern in mind there. But it seems like a Puma could come in here and harass you and never once go over there. Oh, it looks like he just read my mind and canceled them. Oh, well, here we go. This is what we were looking for. So this kind of stuff is great. In fact, you know, I'm going to take it back. Cracken knows what's up. Cracken says, you know what, T, that's a great idea, but if I came down here and capped these 2 points, that would be tons of time where my opponent would still have these 2 points. So I'm just going to cap this stuff first, disconnecting his territory, and then I'll cap the stuff in the back. So do as Cracken does, not as Harlequin says, because that's a lot better idea. You'll notice these Pioneers here with the Minesweepers doing their thing, and now that he's disconnected everything, Minesweeper guys can handle all that stuff. So, good move there. I take it all back. So meanwhile, big old infantry attack here. We have Cracken firing up his infantry pillage. I'm going to go ahead and switch to his point of view. And looks like Manpower Blitz is already activated with assault reinforcements. And here we go. What did we get for assault reinforcements? We got a Puma, we got a Goliath, and we got, it looks like, a freaking officer and some Pioneers and... All right, just a big old mix of stuff there. Why not? But, you know, the Puma is awesome, and hey, a Goliath. They're pretty cool. I mean, you get one for free. They're awesome units. If you're not familiar with the Goliath, if you've never seen this before, if you're new to the game, normally you can make them out of bunkers for a couple hundred munitions, and they are just humongous. And if you didn't know it, they are actually based on a real-life thing, although in real life the Goliaths were wire-operated and driven by remote control, so... I believe it was people would crawl out into the field whenever they saw them moving towards tanks and snip the wires so that they couldn't be controlled anymore. Kind of cool, though. They looked awesome, and they looked just like this. Little tiny tanks. Remote-controlled cars, basically. Anyhow, so that's kind of an awkward bunch of units, but a bunch of flame guys. Hey, why not? Meanwhile, the officer here, rarely seen unit. Kind of weird ability. You know, he's got the ability to speed up production on buildings. At higher levels like battle phase, he can call in artillery. He's kind of like a weak terror officer. He does have forced retreat, though, for a good amount of munitions. So, you know, he's kind of like, you know, he's a throwback to Vanilla Co. Company of Heroes where, you know, you would get those kind of abilities from these guys. So, you know, why not? He has a little Luger. He runs around. He's kind of vulnerable. Wow, look at that shot right into that thing, whatever it was. Looked like a well, but there's a well right here. So I don't know what it was. Some kind of part of a fruit stand or something. Who knows? Oh, and a nice-looking mortar shot right there in the middle of nowhere. Even this sniper taking a bit of it in the head there. Taking out 3 dudes, and we have got a gung-ho officer here. Look at this guy. Freaking James Bond just moving up. Cap, cap, cap. And frankly, you know, I've seen these guys be pretty lethal. They tend to either kill you or they don't kill you. I don't usually see them do damage. It's just like cap, and all of a sudden one dude drops dead. At least dudes with pistols. I don't know. I base it on nothing other than my own poor observations. And there we go. Officers the hell out of there. Meanwhile, oh, sneaky Goliath back here. By the way, Goliaths can cloak when they stand still. That's the other cool thing about him. Here comes the Goliath! Goliath suicide bomb on pinned guys. Oh! Oh! Look at that. Oh! That's a lot of kills there. I'm not going to count all that up. That's a bunch. Anyhow, once again, just say a little silent thank you to the programmer or programmers at Relic who gave us those wonderful little dirt plumes. God, I love those. I love them. It's just you know, it makes eating breakfast and watching replays that much more entertaining. So anyhow, good conservative stances here. You'll notice that he's kind of using, you know, he's using his more flexible troops up front and just kind of fighting away with them a little bit. Unfortunately, he's really got to move this accomplished HMD team. Now would be the time to retreat it. Oh, and that man got launched. Kind of probably just forgot about it. Looks like the Rifleman squad might even be trying to pick up that HMD, but unfortunately he is just covered from all directions. And look at this kind of contain that's going on here. I do love the control aspect of this. I'm just going to pause the game for a second. We're going to look at the setup that Cracken has here. This is very important to notice this kind of stuff. HMG team, line of fire all across here. You know, you can cover this area, and with a little bit of finagling, they can probably swing around and get some shots off if people try and flank. Backed up by an accomplished Puma. Next road is practically like a roadblock. This is practically like a single-player campaign almost. Next road, roadblock with flame engineers. Over here, we have a bunch of Volksgrenadiers. We have tanks, Pumas, just kind of blocking all of these areas. And then coming around south, we have more infantry, barbed wire, and then finally an opening down here in the south. But just take a minute to appreciate this kind of control that he has here. He doesn't need to come up much further than this anyways. This is all he needs. I'm going to go ahead and get right back into this game here. But it's good to appreciate that. And my God, it really does look like a single-player game up here. So, now, how will the player defeat this challenge today, given the units he has and whatever the constraints of this map are? He also has to save a Danish princess located in this house. That's a bonus objective. So we got the minesweepers moving around down here, just doing some bat capping. That's always a good idea. There tend to be mines in these little hard-to-reach areas. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. I don't know. I find mines in my teeth. I don't know about you guys. Anyhow, anti-tank gun moving up, taking some pot shots at the Puma, who is undoubtedly going to just kind of back away a little bit. Boom! Slams right into the side. Look at that, 50% damage. Side armor shot there. Will they get another shot before he moves out of the way? No! But it looks like the flamethrowers taking some cover in this building here and just kind of flaming up and then just hopping right back out again. Good use of cover there. Overextending a little bit, frankly, probably because he didn't know that there was anybody back here. And now going to have to leave because nobody ever expects to come out of a church and see a stug. I mean, I don't know. Unless, you know, I don't know. There's probably a joke there somewhere, but I'm not going to try too hard. We got mortar teams setting up here. We got these Pumas are being surprisingly coy. They're just kind of hanging out blocking. You know, I really think that this is at least the intention behind this move. Now notice good mortar team here. Come on, mortar. Be firing in here somewhere. Oh, look at that. I love it. Look at little James Bond just hanging out down here. Sorry, I'm thinking of like Harrison Ford in whatever it was, where he was dressed up like a Nazi. That's who I pictured this guy as. Oh, some more mortars coming in. I just love seeing a well-placed mortar team here. Getting Vet 1 off of that as well. Good bit of fighting going on here. Now this is the push. Now this is the mortar push, which I really like. Which it's just kind of, you know, you creep the mortar up, you move up, you creep the mortar up. Look at this, throwing a hand grenade, right at James Bond here. Oh, he's just gonna peel on out of there. Shot from the Stug, taking a chunk out of this building and some other guy's head. And HMG team up here, and this is a German machine gunner. Oh, he's picked up the cursed machine gun, I think. Meanwhile, Duffy's anti-tank gun chilling out there. Gonna have to cap this at some point, but frankly, it's impossible, what with everything else going on at the moment. Was that a sniper? Yes, it is. 2 kills on Mr. Sniper down here, who does have 30% sight range, and his cost is reduced by 25 manpower. Odd ability. And here comes the huge infantry charge. Notice he's not charging with everything. And I always think that this is a good idea. Notice he's keeping some stuff back, but what is it? What could it be? It's a Calliope! Harlequin's favorite unit in the game. Oh, no. I know. Whenever I laugh at this guy, oh, look at that. Oh, look at all the guys dying there. I know. You know, every time I point out a Calliope, I know that there's a certain subset of my audience that's sitting there saying, oh my God, they should go in and delete the code that ever put that in the game, and the code writers should be dragged into the street and shot in front of their own mothers for adding. It's like, okay, I know. I know some people really get serious about these kind of units, but that's cool, man. You gotta just take a step back, man. Relax. Appreciate it for the wonderful unit that it is. Anyhow, so got a bunch of riflemen here supporting this Calliope who's doing ring around the rosy at the moment. Getting sniped, though. Sniper doing a good job surviving that Calliope barrage, although I wouldn't have been surprised if he got taken out by that. Meanwhile, the Stug just moving back to his normal little comfy spot. He's just kind of guarding this little Stug roost over here. And the Calliope is just chilling, but this is serious trouble. You thought a mortar push was bad. A Calliope push will really get the job done pretty quickly. Meanwhile, nice little flank here by the accomplished Puma. He's going to be able to do some serious damage to this MG